Is satellite scanner for buried Yamashita treasures legit? You might have already heard about satellite scanning services for buried Yamashita treasures, and you always wonder if it's legit, or simply a scam. According to some people, scanning a certain site via satellite can give a highly accurate result to the exact location of the buried item. It does really sound quite interesting, right? In order for your site to be scanned by the satellite, the information that I got requires you to provide pictures of your site, and you have to give your complete address. Other than these, you need to prepare a large sum of money as payment for the service. Someone actually claimed that the fee reaches 1 million pesos. And that's not all. They also have a share of 20% on the treasures that you may recover. But the huge question is it really legit? Since 1980s, there have been groups of researchers who conducted a shuttle mission at the eastern portion of the Sahara Desert. The shuttle took a lot of images through its microwave radar, which had an interesting result. When the researchers analyzed the images, they noticed a pattern of an ancient river drainage. Some scientists actually agreed that microwave radar from the satellite can be used to scan a buried object under the ground. Thus, they performed further testing to prove the claim, and through their experiment, they managed to prove it. However, the problem is that it can only scan objects that are buried at shallow depth. And based on the latest information that I got, they are still in the process of researching ways to improve it. Another problem when it comes to satellite scanners is that they are only effective on dry areas. So on wetlands, which are the favorite treasure hiding places by the Japanese Imperial Army soldiers, satellite scanning won't be effective. This is due to the reason that water has the natural characteristics that absorbs the satellite's microwave radiation. Another issue is the resolution of the satellite's imagery, where it's really hard to recognize buried objects, due to the far distance involved. So if the buried treasure deposit is one box of containers filled with gold bars, this size is way too small to be recognized. Perhaps, if you are looking for a buried object with a size comparable to a huge truck, then it may be more visible. Unfortunately, there are still many issues that need to be fixed, in order to make it more effective in scanning buried objects under the ground. But when it happens that it got improved and it became fully functional, do you think that it will be available for public use? Of course not. It's going to be a top-secret tool, where it requires strict permission before someone is allowed to use. So to all fellow treasure hunters, don't get tricked by satellite scanning services. These people offering such service are actually scammers, where they are only after your money. If you come to think of it, they do not need to sell their satellite scanning services, because they can just use it for themselves to find their own treasures. This way they can make more money.